What's good, RIZZLE fam? It's your boy Big Man. Shocking revelations emerge as YNW Melly's trial takes a dramatic turn. The explosive court proceedings unveil a twisted plot involving secret text messages, uncooperative record labels, and mysterious new evidence. As the trial unfolds, authorities suspect YNW Melly's involvement in the tragic passing of YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie. Get ready for some jaw-dropping details of this high-profile case that send in shockwaves through the music industry. YNW Melly's a Florida-based rapper who creates music based on his turbulent life experiences. His first breakthrough came with the release of his debut mixtape, IMU, in 2018. Growing up in the dangerous streets of Gifford, Florida, Melly started making and uploading music on SoundCloud at a young age, blending melodically sung vocals with raw raps about various challenging aspects of his life, including violence, crime, sex, and money. He eventually was incarcerated for weapons charges related to a shooting he was involved in at the age of 16. After being released from jail, Melly continued to produce music, releasing several singles, videos, and projects, including a 2017 EP called Collect Call featuring Lil B and John Wicks. He also collaborated with other artists, including Supreme Patty and Kanye West, and released a non-album single called 223s in 2019. Despite his musical success, Melly faced significant legal issues during this time, including 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the deaths of his friends YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser. He was incarcerated and awaiting trial when his first studio album, Melly vs. Melvin, was released in 2019. The single Thugged Out, featuring Kodak Black, was released in 2021, followed shortly by his second studio album, Just a Matter of Slime, which he produced while in jail. And as most of y'all know, Melly is still behind bars. His trial picked up pace though, as we've seen his appearance in court just a few days ago. But what did Melly do, and is he really responsible for the deaths of his friends Sack Chaser and Juvie? Well, here's what we know so far. The Miramar Police Department has accused Melly of being responsible for the shooting deaths of Anthony Williams, 21, and Christopher Thomas Jr., 19, who were his close friends. Interestingly, after their passing on October 26, 2018, the rapper publicly mourned their deaths. In a statement that was posted on Twitter on February 13th, police officials accused YNW Melly and his friend YNW Bortland of fabricating the crime scene to make it appear as if the deaths of Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas Jr. were a result of a drive-by shooting. The statement said, Jamel Demons, aka YNW Melly, and Cortland Henry have been arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The victims, Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas Jr., were killed on 10/26/2018. The investigation, supported by forensic evidence, has concluded that Demons shot and killed Williams and Thomas Jr., and that Demons and Henry staged the crime scene to resemble a drive-by shooting. On the night of the murders, which took place on October 26, 2018, Sack and Juvie were taken to Memorial Hospital in Miramar, Florida, at approximately 4:35 a.m. by Bortland. Upon arrival, they were already deceased. Bortland claimed that his 2 friends were victims of a drive-by shooting carried out by a bunch of unknown dudes. However, the cops eventually concluded that Melly was the perpetrator and subsequently arrested both him and Bortland. Bortland was taken into custody in Houston and subsequently was extradited back to Florida, where he was charged with murder and being an accessory to murder. Despite his insistence of innocence, YNW Melly was denied bond and the case against him. He pointed out that he was falsely accused, but the decision to deny the bond was made nonetheless. Melly pleaded not guilty in March of 2019, denying that he was even present during the shooting and refuting any motive to harm his friends. The prosecution, however, contended that the murders may have resulted from a disagreement over money, with YNW Sack Chaser supposedly threatening Melly's mom, Jamie King. The story goes that Melly and his record label promised Sack around $200K at first. Sack was dropping tracks and Melly's label thought it would be profitable to have him around. However, at some point they changed their minds and the deal was off. Prosecutors believe that this could be a strong reason for trouble between Melly and Sack arising. Regardless of the reason why, in April of the same year, prosecutors announced their intention to seek the death penalty, a decision that the victims' families supported. In November, prosecutors made public crime scene photos that purportedly supported their claim that the victims were shot from inside the vehicle. Over the past 3 years, progress in the case has been extremely slow, as both sides prepare for what promises to be a protracted trial and engage in disputes over evidence. Fredo Bang, who purportedly been in contact with Melly on the night of the murders, has refused to answer questions about the case. The death penalty was initially dropped in July of 2022, but it was proposed again in November of the same year, and as of this moment, Melly could still be facing that death penalty as the final outcome of his sentence. The Melly trial began on April 10th with the selection of a jury. In a process that is expected to take several weeks, the court seeks to ensure an impartial panel for the high-profile rapper's case. On Monday night, Melly's mother gave us an update on the start of the trial on Instagram. Official update on YNW Melly: we started jury selection today and will continue over the next 2 weeks. Trial will start June 5th, 2023. No more delays. Free Melly 2023. Most comments online were about how long it took the officials to finally start with the trial. One person said, 5 years. If that man is not guilty, he needs to be compensation for every single second he was sat there being told his trial would start soon. Just 2 days ago, we were hit with yet another interesting piece of news. See, Melly's ex has been called up to sit for a deposition. This might change the trajectory of the whole trial. Court documents that came in on Tuesday, May 2nd indicate that Stuart Aldenstein, YNW Melly's attorney, filed notice of his intention to depose Mariah Hamilton, Melly's ex, on May 1st. Melly is suspected of having contacted his ex following the murders of his friends YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser. Mariah has previously not spoken to law enforcement officials on the matter. The deposition is scheduled for May 5th, and with all things considered, some think that her deposition could be a game changer in the trial. There's a chance that Melly's ex could in fact finally expose the truth and show the world that Melly did in fact take the lives of 2 of his closest friends. However, a deposition is distinct from testifying in court since the witness is not providing testimony before a judge or jury. Typically, attorneys from both sides are present, and the witness answers questions about the case with few objections from attorneys as opposed to testifying in a trial. Afterward, both sides decide if the witness's information is strong enough to use in the trial. That being said, if Mariah spills the beans on something crucial, it might get used in front of the court. As y'all might now, this is not the first deposition that is about to take place. The first one being from the mother of Melly's former girlfriend. First, they talk to her mom, and in a day or so, they will talk to her as well. Here's what we got from the first deposition. It appears that Felicia Holmes, who's the mother of YNW Melly's ex-girlfriend, has been attempting to evade giving her deposition on the case. As a result, she was arrested while on vacation in the Virgin Islands and is currently being held in custody without bail until she complies with the deposition. That only goes to show that the state is taking the matter very seriously. So why is this even happening in the first place, you might be asking? Well, it's because of what took place right after the shooting. Melly reportedly video called his ex-girlfriend and her mother, and both of them told the authorities that Melly was hiding and waiting to be picked up. The original shirt worn by Melly had a bloodstain pattern on it. In an interview with the mother and her daughter, they both said that after the shooting, Melly FaceTimed them and claimed that he was a victim of a drive-by shooting and that his 2 friends, Sack and Juvie, were victims. The mother also stated while she was on the phone with Melly, it seemed to her like he was somewhere outside and hiding, waiting for someone to come pick him up. Now, that's important because that piece of information is actually consistent with the cell phone records from Melly's phone that the cops acquired. And don't forget, Melly had his phone with him before, during, and after the shooting took place. Melly and his mother both lied that Melly also called his mother after the incident took place, but there's no evidence of that ever happening. Melly's lawyer tried making the argument that he used his new phone to call his mom, but that one was never retrieved, and it seems that story is very hard to believe. Wrap it all up, the first deposition gave out a lot of info relevant to the possible outcome of Melly's trial. Therefore, we got a strong reason to believe that Mariah's deposition will do the same. As you can see, this seems like some info that could cause some damage to Melly in front of the court. Comments online seem to believe so too. She basically implied that Melly was doing shady shit based on the circumstances, but I would not be surprised if she testified against Melly. What y'all think is going to happen? Is the deposition going to be similar to that of her mother, or is it going to be different? Is his girlfriend going to uncover the real truth behind the cold-blooded murder of Sack Chaser and Juvie? Let us know what you think all about it in the comments section down below. Thanks so much for watching till the very end. If you like this video, you know the drill. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, remember to keep it RIZZLE, RIZZLE.